Call 911, now! Sofia Rivera's voice ripped through the sterile silence of the 42nd floor like a gunshot. Her mop clattered against Italian marble as she sprinted toward the sound. A crash that shouldn't exist in a building where even whispers echoed like violations. Whitmore Tech's Innovation Lab, the Forbidden Room, the place where billion-dollar secrets lived behind reinforced glass and biometric locks. The scream that followed made her forget every rule she'd ever been told. Sofia shoved the door wide. Inside, Marcus Whitmore, the face of San Francisco's tech royalty, the man whose interviews played on every financial channel, writhed on the floor. His skin had turned the color of week-old newspaper. Purple lips, eyes rolling back, a shattered vial glittering near his twitching hand like broken diamonds soaked in poison. His assistant stood frozen, 3 of them, designer suits, manicured nails, mouths hanging open like they'd forgotten how to form words. "Someone call 911!" Sofia screamed again. Nobody moved. They were too terrified of breaking protocol, too afraid of touching the untouchable, too paralyzed by the invisible walls that separated people like them from people like her. But Sofia's 7-year-old son, Danny, had severe asthma. She'd taken CPR training 3 years ago at Oakland Community Health Center, not because she wanted to, but because watching your child gasp for air in the middle of the night teaches you that hesitation kills. Right now, a paramedic's voice thundered in her memory. You are their lungs. You are their heartbeat. Act or watch them die. Sofia dropped to her knees beside Marcus. One assistant finally found her voice. "You can't touch him. You'll be fired." "He's not breathing," Sofia snapped. "Move." She tilted his head back, pinched his nose, and pressed her mouth against his, the lips of a billionaire who'd walked past her 1,000 times without ever knowing her name. The room exploded. She kissed him. She's trying to... Someone stop her. She's contaminating. Sofia ignored every scream, her hands locked together over Marcus's chest. She started compressions. 1, 2, 3. Someone grabbed her shoulder, yanking hard. She jerked free, nearly losing count. "Stop! He will die!" "Security's coming," another assistant hissed. "You're done." 4, 5, 6. Her arms burned. Sweat dripped into her eyes. But she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. 2 more breaths, 30 more compressions. Then, Marcus's chest lurched violently. He coughed hard and wet, sucking in air with the desperate hunger of someone dragged back from drowning. His eyes fluttered open. He was alive. The assistants swarmed him immediately, suddenly brave now that the danger had passed. Sofia stumbled backward, her hands shaking so badly she had to sit on the floor. Nobody looked at her. Nobody said thank you. But by sunrise, Sofia's entire life would be in ruins. And the man she saved wouldn't even remember her face. 12 hours earlier, Sofia had kissed Danny goodnight in their cramped Oakland studio apartment, the space so small his twin bed nearly touched her pull-out couch. The walls were thin enough to hear their neighbor's television through the drywall. "Mom, when do I get my own room?" Danny had asked, his dark eyes wide and hopeful. "Soon, baby," she'd whispered. The same lie she'd been telling for 3 years. "I promise." Now, at 11:47 p.m., she pushed her cleaning cart past empty cubicles on the 42nd floor of Whitmore Tech, the building that dominated San Francisco's skyline like a glass monument to wealth she'd never touch. Every surface here cost more than her annual salary. The coffee machines were Italian. The bathroom fixtures were brushed platinum. She was invisible here. Deliberately so. The night security guard, Trevor, had once told her, You're the only janitor who's allowed up here. Don't mess it up. Translation: don't look at anything. Don't touch anything important. Don't exist louder than a whisper. Sofia was wiping dried coffee rings off the executive conference table when she heard it. Crash. Sharp. Metallic. Wrong. Then the scream. Her body moved before her brain caught up. She abandoned her cart and ran toward the innovation lab, the room that was always locked, always off limits, always surrounded by rumors about patents worth billions. The door was cracked open. She pushed inside. Marcus Whitmore lay on the floor, convulsing. His skin was gray, lips turning a terrifying shade of purple. Glass glittered around him like deadly confetti. 3 assistants stood in a semicircle, paralyzed. He just collapsed, one woman stammered. We were testing the new compound and... Call 911, Sofia shouted. They stared at her like she'd materialized from another dimension. Now. One assistant fumbled for her phone. The others just stood there, hands pressed to their mouths. Sofia knelt beside Marcus. She pressed 2 fingers against his neck. No pulse. Terror slammed through her chest. She'd trained for this. Practiced on dummies. But a dummy didn't have a Fortune 500 company. A dummy didn't have lawyers and security teams and the power to destroy her life. Miss, you need to leave? One assistant said. This is a restricted... He's not breathing. Sofia tilted Marcus's head back, pinched his nose, and gave him 2 rescue breaths. The room went silent, except for the desperate sound of her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. Oh my God, she's kissing him. Get her off. Hands grabbed Sofia's shoulders. She shoved them away with strength she didn't know she had. Don't touch me, she screamed. She locked her hands together and started chest compressions. 1, 2, 3. The CPR instructor's voice echoed. Push hard, push fast, don't stop. 10, 15, 20. Someone was crying. Someone was yelling about protocols and liability. Someone kept repeating, this is bad, this is so bad. Sofia blocked them all out. 28, 29, 30. 2 more breaths. Again. Her arms screamed. Her back ached. Sweat poured down her face. Then Marcus's chest jerked. He coughed violently, his whole body convulsing as air flooded back into his lungs. His eyes opened, confused, terrified, alive. The assistants rushed forward, suddenly capable of action now that the crisis had passed. Sofia sat back on her heels, her entire body trembling. Paramedics are 3 minutes out, someone said. Nobody looked at Sofia. She stood slowly, her legs unsteady, and walked out of the room. She didn't know it yet, but she'd just saved a billionaire's life. And it would cost her everything. Sofia was gathering her cleaning supplies when security found her. 2 guards, stone-faced, arms crossed. Sofia Rivera? The taller one asked. Yes? You need to come with us. Her stomach dropped. Why? What happened? There's been an incident. They escorted her to a windowless office on the 15th floor. The kind of room where people got fired, where dreams went to die under fluorescent lights and corporate policy. A woman in a charcoal suit sat behind the desk. Her nameplate read, Jennifer Cross, Head of Human Resources. Ms. Rivera, we need to discuss what happened on the 42nd floor tonight. Sofia's hands clenched in her lap. I gave CPR to Mr. Whitmore. He wasn't breathing. You initiated physical contact with the CEO. The words hung in the air, like a trap waiting to spring. I saved his life. Jennifer's expression didn't change. Several witnesses reported that you placed your mouth on Mr. Whitmore's mouth. Is that accurate? That's how CPR works. Were you trained to perform CPR? Yes. I took a course at Oakland Community Health Center 3 years ago. Jennifer wrote something down. Each scratch of her pen felt like a nail being hammered into Sofia's coffin. Mr. Whitmore was unconscious. He could not consent to physical contact. Sofia's breath caught. He was dying. That's not for you to determine. We have medical professionals on call. They weren't there. Sofia's voice cracked. Nobody was doing anything. He would have died. Jennifer's eyes were cold. Your employment is suspended pending investigation. You're not to return to Whitmore Tech property. Your access badge is revoked. You'll be contacted within 72 hours. Investigation. I saved him. You violated multiple protocols. Someone will escort you out. Sofia walked through the lobby in a daze. Outside, San Francisco's night air hit her face like a slap. It was 3:17 a.m. The city lights blurred through her tears. She took the BART train back to Oakland, her body numb. When she got home, Danny was still asleep. She sat on the edge of his bed and watched him breathe. The rise and fall of his small chest, the peaceful expression on his face. He had no idea their world was about to collapse. By noon, Sofia's phone was exploding. Text messages from coworkers. Did you really kiss the CEO? Facebook notifications. Someone had posted a blurry security camera still, Sofia leaning over Marcus, their faces inches apart. The caption, Janitor kisses billionaire CEO, claims it was CPR. The comments were vicious. Gold digger. She planned this. Probably trying to get a settlement. That's assault. Arrest her. Sofia's hands shook as she scrolled. Each comment was a knife twisting deeper. A news blog picked it up. Whitmore Tech janitor under investigation after inappropriate contact with CEO during medical emergency. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Ms. Rivera, this is Channel 7 News. We'd like to get your side of... She hung up. Another call. Another reporter. She turned her phone off and sat on her couch, staring at nothing. Danny came home from school and found her there, still in her work uniform, eyes red and swollen. Mom, what's wrong? Sofia forced a smile. Nothing, baby. Just tired. But when Danny hugged her, she held him so tight he squirmed. Mom, you're squishing me. Sorry, she whispered. I just love you so much. 3 miles away, in a private hospital suite overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge, Marcus Whitmore opened his eyes for the first time since the incident. His head pounded, his chest ached, and he had absolutely no memory of who had saved his life. Marcus Whitmore's first conscious thought was pain. It radiated from his chest outward, sharp and relentless, like someone had been hammering his ribcage with a sledgehammer. His second thought, where am I? White walls, sterile smell, beeping machines, private hospital suite. Mr. Whitmore? A nurse appeared beside him. Welcome back. How are you feeling? Like I died, he rasped. You nearly did. The memories came in fragments. The lab, the compound test, the vial shattering. Then, nothing. Just darkness and the sensation of drowning. What happened? You experienced severe anaphylactic shock combined with respiratory arrest. Your heart stopped for approximately 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Long enough for brain damage, long enough to die. Who? Marcus's throat burned. Who saved me? The nurse hesitated. I'll get your team. Minutes later, his executive assistants filed in. The same 3 who'd been in the lab. They looked exhausted, guilty. Marcus, thank God, Rebecca, his chief assistant, said. We were so worried. What happened after I collapsed? Silence. Someone must have performed CPR. Marcus pressed. Who? Rebecca exchanged glances with the others. It was handled. That's not an answer. There were complications. Victoria, another assistant, added carefully. The situation is being reviewed. Marcus's patience snapped. I want the security footage. Now. Sir, maybe you should rest. Now. 20 minutes later, Marcus sat upright in his hospital bed, iPad in hand, watching the footage. The lab, him collapsing, his assistants frozen like statues. Then a woman burst through the door. Small frame, hair pulled back, cleaning uniform. She didn't hesitate. She dropped to her knees beside him, checked his pulse, tilted his head back, gave him rescue breaths. His assistants were yelling at her. One even grabbed her shoulder, trying to pull her away. She fought them off and continued compressions. Marcus watched himself lie there, gray-skinned and dying, while this woman, this stranger, battled to keep him alive. When he finally revived, coughing and gasping, she sat back on the floor, trembling. His assistants swarmed him. Nobody thanked her. Nobody even looked at her. She stood up and walked out alone. Marcus replayed the video 3 times. A janitor saved my life, he whispered. He looked up at his assistants. Where is she? Rebecca shifted uncomfortably. She's no longer with the company. What? There was an incident report filed. Inappropriate physical contact. She was suspended pending investigation. Marcus's blood went cold. You're telling me the woman who saved my life was fired? Not fired. Suspended. There's a difference. Who filed the report? Protocol required us to... Marcus slammed his fist against the bed rail. The machines beeped frantically. Get out. Sir, get out! They fled. Marcus pulled up his laptop, ignoring the pain in his chest. He accessed Whitmore Tech's HR database. Sofia Rivera, age 32, single mother, 7 years with the company. Janitorial staff. Perfect attendance record until this week. Current status, suspended without pay. He found her address, Oakland, a neighborhood he'd never visited, probably couldn't find on a map. He read the incident report. The language was carefully worded, designed to protect the company, not the truth. Unsolicited physical contact. Breach of protocol. Potential liability. Not a single mention that she'd saved his life. Marcus looked at the security footage one more time. The woman's face as she fought to keep him breathing. The desperation. The courage. You saved me, he said to the screen, and they destroyed you for it. He reached for his phone and called his head of security. Find Sofia Rivera. I need her address confirmed and a security detail to accompany me. Sir, you're still in the hospital. I'm checking myself out. Now. He was going to fix this, even if it meant burning down every protocol that had allowed this injustice to happen. 3 days after saving Marcus Whitmore's life, Sofia Rivera sat on her apartment floor surrounded by rejection letters. Position filled. Not a good fit. Seeking candidates with different qualifications. 27 applications. 27 no's. The rent notice stared at her from the kitchen counter. Final notice. Pay $108.47 by Friday or face eviction. Friday was tomorrow. Her bank account showed $243. Sofia pressed her palms against her eyes, trying to hold back the tears. She couldn't cry. Not while Danny was at school. He couldn't see her like this. Couldn't know that his mother was failing. Her phone buzzed. Another news alert. Whitmore Tech janitors past revealed evictions, debt, and questions about motive. Someone had leaked her financial records, her eviction history, the time she'd applied for emergency food assistance. The internet was having a field day. She targeted him. Desperate woman looking for a payday. Probably planned the whole thing. Sofia hurled her phone across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor. She was invisible her whole life. Now suddenly, everyone could see her. And they saw exactly what they wanted to see. A scheming poor person trying to exploit a rich man's vulnerability. Nobody cared about the truth. The door opened. Danny walked in, backpack on his shoulders. "Mom?" Sofia quickly wiped her eyes and stood up, forcing a smile. "Hey, baby. How was school?" Danny looked at the scattered papers, the crumpled tissues, the phone on the floor. "Mom, are you okay?" "I'm fine. Just organizing some stuff. Jaden's mom said you're famous. She said you kissed a rich guy." Sofia's heart cracked. It wasn't like that. I helped someone who was sick. Then why is everyone being mean about it? Because the world is cruel to people like us, she wanted to say. Because when you're poor, even doing the right thing looks suspicious. Sometimes people don't understand things right away, Sofia said instead. But they will. She didn't believe her own words. Danny hugged her waist. "You're a good mom." Sofia broke. She sank to the floor. Danny still wrapped around her and sobbed. All the fear, the anger, the humiliation came pouring out in waves she couldn't control. "Mom?" Danny's voice was small, scared. "I'm sorry," she choked out. "I'm so sorry." "For what?" "For everything. For this apartment, for not having enough money, for—" "Mom, stop." Danny pulled back and looked at her seriously, his 7-year-old face suddenly ancient. "You're the best mom ever. I don't care about money. But you should have more. You deserve—" "I have you," Danny said simply. "That's enough." Sofia pulled him close and held on like he was the only real thing left in her world. They sat like that for a long time. Then someone knocked on the door. Sofia froze. Landlord, probably, coming to throw them out personally. "Don't answer it," she whispered. The knock came again, firmer. "Ms. Rivera? My name is Marcus Whitmore. I need to talk to you." Sofia's heart stopped. Danny's eyes went wide. "That's the guy from the news." "Shh." Sofia stood slowly, her legs unsteady. She must be hallucinating. Stress-induced psychosis. There was no way. "Please." Marcus's voice came through the door. "I know you have no reason to trust me, but I need to apologize." Sofia looked at Danny. He nodded eagerly. She walked to the door, hands shaking as she reached for the handle. When she opened it, Marcus Whitmore stood there in jeans and a hoodie, looking nothing like the polished CEO from his interviews. He looked exhausted, human. Behind him, a man in a dark suit stood at attention. Security, probably. "Ms. Rivera," Marcus said quietly, "you saved my life, and I destroyed yours." Sofia's throat closed up. "Can I come in?" Sofia stepped aside, and Marcus Whitmore entered her tiny Oakland apartment, a space so small his security guard had to wait in the hallway. Marcus's eyes scanned the room, the pull-out couch, the water-stained ceiling, Danny's homework spread across a coffee table that wobbled on uneven legs. "This is Danny," Sofia said, her voice tight. Marcus knelt to eye level with the boy. "Your mom is a hero. She saved my life." Danny beamed. "I know, but everyone's being mean to her." Marcus's jaw clenched. "I know. That's why I'm here." He stood and turned to Sofia. "What happened to you is unforgivable. My team filed that report without my knowledge. They were trying to protect the company from liability, and He took a breath. "They treated you like a criminal, instead of the person who kept me alive. Sofia crossed her arms, the anger she'd been swallowing for days rising up. Do you know what it's like? I did everything right. I followed my training, and now I can't get hired anywhere. My landlord is evicting us. Danny's friend's parents look at me like I'm some kind of predator. I know. You don't know. Sofia's voice cracked. You get to go back to your penthouse and your company and your perfect life. I get to explain to my 7-year-old why we might be homeless. Marcus pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket. This is a check. It covers 3 months of rent, plus expenses. It's not payment. It's me fixing the immediate crisis I caused. Sofia stared at the envelope like it might explode. I don't want your money. I'm not offering charity. I'm offering justice. Justice would be giving me my job back. I can do that too, Marcus said. But I want to offer something else. Sofia laughed bitterly. What, a cleaning job on a different floor? No. Marcus met her eyes. A leadership position, head of employee safety and oversight. It's a new role I'm creating because of what happened. Because you were the only person in that room who knew what to do and had the courage to do it. The room went silent, except for the hum of the refrigerator. I don't have a degree, Sofia whispered. You have something better. You have integrity, courage, the ability to act under pressure when everyone else freezes. Marcus's voice was steady. Those aren't things I can hire. Those are things people either have or they don't. I clean toilets for a living. You saved a life for a living, Marcus corrected. Everything else is just what people paid you to do while they failed to see who you really are. Sofia felt tears burning her eyes. Nobody had ever talked to her like this. Like she mattered. Like she was more than invisible labor. What about the investigation? She asked. Closed as of 1 hour ago. You're cleared of all accusations, and I'm issuing a public statement tomorrow clarifying exactly what happened. Danny tugged Sofia's sleeve. Mom, say yes. Sofia looked at her son, his hopeful face, his bright eyes, and then at Marcus, who stood in her tiny apartment like he belonged there. Why are you really doing this? She asked quietly. Marcus's expression softened. Because the people around me failed. They failed me, and they failed you. And I refuse to run a company where someone like you, someone brave and decent, gets punished for doing what's right. He paused. Also, because I remember something. Right before I blacked out completely, I heard your voice. You said, "Don't die on me." And I didn't. Because of you. Sofia wiped her eyes. So, Marcus asked, will you let me try to make this right? Sofia took a shaky breath. Yes. The next morning, Sofia stood outside Whitmore Tech's gleaming entrance, her stomach churning. She was wearing her nicest outfit, a black blazer she'd bought at Goodwill 3 years ago, and dress pants that were slightly too short. Next to the employees streaming past in designer clothes, she felt like an imposter. Marcus had arranged for her to meet with his executive team to discuss the new position. You'll be fine, he'd texted earlier. Just be yourself. Easy for a billionaire to say. Sofia took a breath and walked through the doors. The lobby was exactly as she remembered. Marble floors, modern art, a receptionist who'd never once looked at her when she came in for night shifts. Today, the receptionist did a double take. Ms. Rivera? Yes. Mr. Whitmore is expecting you. 42nd floor. The elevator ride felt eternal. When the doors opened, Sofia stepped into the executive suite and walked straight into a wall of hostile stairs. A dozen executives sat around the conference table, the same people who'd ignored her existence for 7 years. Now they looked at her like she'd personally insulted them. Marcus stood at the head of the table. "Everyone, this is Sofia Rivera." Silence. "Sofia will be joining us as head of employee safety and oversight, a new executive-level position reporting directly to me." A man in a Tom Ford suit spoke up. "Marcus, with all respect, is this really appropriate? She has no experience in—" "She has the experience that matters." Marcus cut him off. "She saved my life while all of you stood there doing nothing." The room went cold. "Now," Marcus continued, his voice hard, "Sofia will be conducting a full review of our safety protocols, workplace policies, and employee treatment standards. She has my complete authority to implement changes as she sees fit." Any questions? A woman with silver hair raised her hand. "What are her qualifications?" 7 years working in this building," Sofia said, finding her voice. 7 years watching how this company treats people when they think nobody's looking. The silver-haired woman's eyes narrowed. Marcus smiled slightly. "Sofia will start Monday. Her office is being prepared on this floor. I expect everyone's full cooperation." After the meeting ended and the executives filed out, Sofia stayed behind. "They hate me," she said quietly. "They're threatened by you," Marcus corrected. "There's a difference. I don't know how to do this." "Yes, you do." Marcus turned to face her. "You know what it's like to be powerless in a system designed to keep you invisible. Now you have the power to change that system. Start there." Sofia looked out the floor-to-ceiling windows at San Francisco spread below. The same view the executives enjoyed every day while she scrubbed their floors. "What if I fail?" "Then you fail," Marcus said simply. "But I don't think you will." That evening, Sofia picked Danny up from school and took him to their favorite spot, a small park near Lake Merritt in Oakland. "Mom, did you really get a fancy job?" Danny asked, swinging his legs from the bench. "I think so." "Are we going to be rich?" Sofia laughed. "No, baby. But we'll be okay." Danny considered this. "Okay is good." "Yeah," Sofia whispered, pulling him close. "Okay is good." Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "This is Rebecca from today's meeting. Just wanted to say, you're braver than all of us. Don't let them break you. R." Sofia smiled. Maybe she wasn't completely alone in this after all. Monday morning came faster than Sofia expected. She stood in her new office, an actual office with a door and windows and a desk that wasn't secondhand. On the desk sat a nameplate: Sofia Rivera, Head of Employee Safety and Oversight. She ran her fingers over the letters. Time to prove everyone wrong. Sofia's first week in her new role, she did something no executive had done in Whitmore Tech's history. She talked to the janitors. She found them on the 3rd floor during night shift: Maria, Tommy, and Jerome. They froze when they saw her approach, clearly recognizing her from the news. "I used to work with you," Sofia said. "I'm not here to inspect. I'm here to listen." Slowly, the stories came out. Maria explained how supervisors scheduled shifts with only 4 hours between them, making it impossible to sleep. Tommy showed her the cheap cleaning supplies that burned their hands, but saved the company money. Jerome admitted he'd injured his back lifting industrial equipment alone, but didn't report it because he couldn't afford to lose the job. Sofia took notes. The next day, she called a meeting with facilities management. "We're changing the scheduling system," she announced. "Minimum 8 hours between shifts. And I want ergonomic equipment and proper safety gear ordered by end of week. The facilities director scoffed. Do you have any idea what that costs? Do you have any idea what a lawsuit costs when someone gets permanently injured? Sofia countered. Or what it costs to constantly rehire people because you burn them out? Marcus, who'd been silently observing, spoke up. Make it happen. The facilities director's face went red, but he nodded. Word spread fast. Sofia started receiving emails, hundreds of them, from employees across every department. I'm a single mom like you. Can we get lactation rooms? The overtime policy is unclear and we're always getting cheated. My manager makes inappropriate comments and HR does nothing. Sofia read every single one. She brought the findings to Marcus. This company has a culture problem, she said, sliding a detailed report across his desk. People are afraid to speak up, and when they do, they're punished for it. That's why nobody helped you when you collapsed. They were more afraid of breaking rules than of letting you die. Marcus went pale. What do you suggest? A whistleblower protection program, anonymous reporting, third-party investigation for serious complaints. And I want to conduct listening sessions with every department, no executives present except me. Done. Over the next month, Sofia transformed from the invisible janitor into the most powerful advocate Whitmore Tech had ever seen. She implemented on-site childcare at subsidized rates, created a confidential reporting system that actually worked, fired 3 managers who'd been harassing employees for years. The company fought her on everything, but Marcus backed her every time. You're making enemies, he warned her one evening. Good, Sofia replied. That means I'm changing things that needed changing. Marcus studied her. This woman who'd transformed from terrified janitor to fearless executive in a matter of weeks. She'd grown into her power in a way that was stunning to watch. You're incredible, he said quietly. Sofia looked up, surprised by the emotion in his voice. I'm just doing what's right. That's what makes you incredible. Their eyes held for a moment too long. Sofia broke the gaze first, her cheeks flushing. I should get back to work. After she left, Marcus sat in his office staring at nothing. He'd hired her to fix a systemic problem. He hadn't expected to start falling for her. Meanwhile, in a corner office 3 floors down, Gerald Morrison, Vice President of Operations, stared at the same report Sofia had shown Marcus. His jaw clenched. This janitor was destroying everything he'd carefully built over 20 years. She was exposing practices he'd hidden, threatening people he'd protected. She had to be stopped. Gerald pulled out his phone and made a call. I need you to dig up everything on Sofia Rivera. Everything. And I mean everything that can be used against her. The hit piece went live on a Thursday morning. Janitor turned executive. The troubling history of Sofia Rivera. Sofia's phone exploded before she even finished reading the headline. The article was detailed. Vicious, personal. Her eviction history laid out with dates and addresses. The time she'd been 3 days late on Danny's school fees. Her ex-boyfriend who'd left when she got pregnant. The consumer debt. The times she'd used emergency food assistance. Someone had leaked her entire financial and personal history. But worse than the facts were the implications. Questions arise about Rivera's motives in targeting CEO Marcus Whitmore. Sources inside Whitmore Tech suggest Rivera's safety reforms are designed to gain leverage for a larger payout. Rivera's relationship with Whitmore has grown inappropriately close, according to employees who wish to remain anonymous. The comment section was a feeding frenzy. Sofia sat in her office, hands shaking, as her professional email flooded with hateful messages. Danny's school called. Parents were concerned about her presence at pickup. Her landlord called. Neighbors were uncomfortable. Within hours, Duck's gold digger janitor was trending on Twitter. Sofia's door burst open. Marcus stood there, his face furious, holding a tablet with the article displayed. Who did this? I don't know, Sofia whispered. I'm going to find out and destroy them. Marcus, maybe? Sofia took a shaky breath. Maybe I should resign. Absolutely not. I'm becoming a liability. The company will survive. I will not accept your resignation. Marcus sat down across from her. Sofia, this is what happens when you threaten powerful people who've been operating without accountability. They attack. They're not just attacking me. They're attacking my son, his school, our home. Then we fight back. How? Sofia's voice broke. I'm nobody. I can't. You're not nobody. Marcus's voice was fierce. You're the person who had the courage to save my life when everyone else froze. You're the person who's been fighting for employees who've never had anyone fight for them. You're the person this company needs. Tears spilled down Sofia's face. I don't know if I'm strong enough for this. You are. Marcus's head of legal, Catherine Chen, appeared in the doorway. I found the source. Gerald Morrison in operations has been feeding information to a journalist he went to college with. Marcus stood slowly, his expression turning cold. Where is he? His office. Get building security. I want him escorted out within the hour. Marcus, he's been here for 20 years, Catherine warned. He'll sue. Let him try. Marcus turned back to Sofia. I'm holding a press conference this afternoon. You're going to be standing next to me while I explain exactly what Gerald did and why. And I'm going to make it very clear that you have my complete support and protection. I don't want special treatment, Sofia said. This isn't special treatment. This is basic human decency. Something this company forgot a long time ago. He paused. I'm also going public with something else. The real reason I created your position. It wasn't charity or guilt. It was because watching the security footage made me realize how broken our culture is, how disposable we treat people. You're not fixing that as a favor to me. You're fixing it because it needs to be fixed. And I need you to do it. Sofia wiped her eyes. Okay, I'll fight. Marcus smiled. Good. That afternoon, the press conference was standing room only. And Sofia Rivera spoke her truth to the world. Sofia stood at the podium, camera flashes exploding like stars. Every major news outlet was there. Her hands gripped the edges of the podium so hard her knuckles went white. Marcus stood beside her, a silent pillar of support. My name is Sofia Rivera, she began, her voice shaking but growing stronger with each word. 5 weeks ago, I was a janitor. I worked night shifts cleaning the offices of people who never learned my name. I was invisible, disposable, the kind of person society teaches you to look past. The room was silent. One night, a man was dying, and everyone froze, not because they didn't care, but because they were more afraid of breaking protocol than of watching someone die. I did CPR because I'm a mother, because I've held my son through asthma attacks, because when someone can't breathe, you don't think about liability or protocol or what people might say. You act. Sofia's voice cracked. I saved Marcus Whitmore's life, and for that, I was treated like a criminal. I was suspended, humiliated. My name was dragged through the mud. And why? Because I crossed a line people like me aren't supposed to cross. She looked directly at the cameras. This isn't just about me. It's about every person who's been invisible. Every janitor, security guard, cafeteria worker, delivery driver, every person this country runs on but refuses to see. You're told that if you work hard, you'll be rewarded. But that's a lie. Working hard just means you're useful. It doesn't mean you're valued. Marcus stepped closer, his presence grounding her. But here's what I learned, Sofia continued. Power isn't something you're given. It's something you take. And you take it by telling the truth, by refusing to disappear, by standing up even when everyone tells you to sit down and be grateful for whatever scraps they throw you. She took a breath. Gerald Morrison tried to destroy me because I threatened a system that benefits people like him. He leaked my private information, attacked my character, tried to paint me as a gold digger and a liar. But here's what he didn't count on. I don't care anymore what powerful people think of me. I care what's right. The room erupted in questions, but Sofia held up her hand. One more thing. To every person out there who feels invisible, who cleans someone's office, serves someone's food, drives someone's Uber, you are not disposable. Your dignity is not negotiable. And if this story proves anything, it's that sometimes the person everyone overlooks is the only one brave enough to do what needs to be done. Sofia stepped back from the podium. The room exploded with applause. Gerald Morrison was fired that evening. His attempts to sue were dismissed when evidence of corporate misconduct dating back years was uncovered. Sofia's safety reforms became a national model. Companies across the country started implementing similar programs, and Whitmore Tech transformed. 3 months later, Sofia stood in her office looking out at San Francisco's skyline. Danny was in the employee child care center downstairs, playing with other kids whose parents finally had affordable options. A knock on her door. Marcus entered, holding 2 cups of coffee. "Thought you could use this," he said. "Thanks." They stood side by side at the window in comfortable silence. "You changed everything," Marcus said quietly. Sofia smiled. "We changed everything." He looked at her, really looked at her, and she saw something in his eyes that made her heart skip. "Sofia, I know," she interrupted gently. "Me too." Marcus took her hand. Outside, the city glowed in the fading light. Inside, 2 people who'd started worlds apart stood together, connected by the simple truth that courage and kindness were worth more than any fortune. Danny burst through the door minutes later. "Mom, I made you a picture." Sofia laughed, pulling her son into a hug. This was her life now. Not perfect, not easy, but finally, beautifully hers. And nobody could ever make her invisible again.